Most families think the danger is over once the house is sold. The court is done, escrow is closed, check has arrived, and everyone finally excels. But here's the truth. For many families, this is not the end of the risk. This is the beginning of a new one. Because once the probate sale is over, the question changes. It is no longer how do we sell this property. Now the question becomes how do we protect what we just worked so hard to preserve. Hi, I'm Paula Aragone with Aragone Associates, and this is the grand finale of Mastering the Probate Sale. Over the last 11 weeks, we have talked about the real dangers families face in probate. Bad actors, bad advice, lowball investors, court delays, poor strategy, unnecessary repairs, family conflicts, disclosed mistakes, and agents who do not understand the fiduciary duty to maximize value. And here's what I need you to understand today. Just because you got through the sale does not mean your family's wealth is safe. It can still be lost after the probate. Lost through lawsuits, lost through divorce, lost through taxes, lost through poor planning, lost because no one had the right conversations early enough. And that is what this final episode is all about. Not just selling the asset, protecting the legacy. Throughout this series, I have said it again and again, strategy is what we do. And in probate, strategy should not stop at the close of escrow. Because if your family does everything the right way to protect the property and then does everything wrong after the money arrives, you did not really solve the problem. You just delayed it. So let's talk about the three biggest ways families lose wealth after probate. Number one, they receive the money, but they do not protect it. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see. A family fights through probate. They clean out the house, they sell it, they divide the proceeds, and then everyone just takes the money outright. No protection, no structure, no planning. That sounds simple, but simple is not always safe because life happens. A beneficiary gets divorced, a beneficiary gets sued, a beneficiary has creditor issues, a beneficiary remarries, a beneficiary makes emotional decisions while grieving, and suddenly that inheritance that was supposed to help the family build wealth starts disappearing. This is why asset protection matters, not because you're doing something wrong, because you're doing something smart. If you inherited meaningful assets, this is the moment to ask, should this money remain exposed in my personal name, or should I be speaking with an estate planning or asset protection attorney about the right structure for my situation? That conversation can change everything because wealth is not only built by what you earn, it is also built by what you keep. Number two, they do not plan for tax consequences of growth. Let's talk about something many families ignore because they think we already sold the house, we're done, not necessary. The federal estate tax threshold for 2026 is currently $15 million per person and $30 million for a married couple under current law. Above that, the federal estate tax rate can be 40%. Now, for many viewers, that may sound like it only applies to the ultra wealthy, but here's why it still matters. Real estate grows, businesses grow, investment portfolios grow, insurance proceeds add up, multiple properties add up. A family that is not thinking strategically today can create a tax problem tomorrow. And when families fail to plan, they often end up being forced to sell assets they wanted to keep. This is how legacy gets broken. Now, not always because someone was irresponsible, sometimes because no one built the plan early enough. So if this probate sale increases your net worth significantly, or if your family already owns property, investments, or a business, this is the time to sit down with a qualified tax strategist and estate planning attorney and ask, what does this inheritance change? What exposure do I have now? What should we be doing while we still have options? Because the best time to plan is before the pressure hits. Number 3, families do not communicate, and that is when the fight starts. This may be the most important lesson of all. A lot of trust and estate litigation does not start because of greed. It starts because of surprise. One child thought the home would stay in the family, another one thought it would be sold, one beneficiary expected equal treatment, another discovers different instructions. One person was told one story privately, another person heard something completely different. And now, what do you have? You have confusion, resentment, suspicion, and litigation. Families can survive disappointment more easily than they survive secrecy. That is why communication is part of legacy planning, not just paperwork, conversation. The people creating the plan need to communicate the plan. The heirs need clarity. The decision makers need to explain the why. That does not mean every conversation will be comfortable. It means they're necessary, because when there's no communication, people fill in the blanks with fear. And fear turns into conflict fast. So what is the real grand finale lesson on this entire 12-week probate series? Here it is. The probate sale is not the finish line. It's the handoff. A handoff from crisis to stewardship. A handoff from grief to strategy. A handoff from liquidating an asset to deciding what kind of legacy your family will actually keep. And that is why the right team matters so much. You never needed just a listing agent. You needed someone who understood the bigger picture, someone who understood the fiduciary duty, someone who knew when to sell as is and when to improve, someone who knew how to protect the estate from bad decisions, someone who could help you maximize value and minimize stress, someone who understood that one wrong move in probate can cost a family tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. That has been the heart of this entire series. At Aragone and Associates, we do not just put a sign in the yard and hope for the best. We help families navigate one of the most emotional, financially sensitive transitions of their lives. And we do it with strategy, because at Aragone, strategy is what we do. Now, if you have made it all the way to this final episode, here's your week 12 homework. First, do a full wealth audit. Ask yourself, what changed financially because of this inheritance? What do I now own? What am I now exposed to? What needs to be protected? Second, review your own trust and estate plan. If you inherited meaningful assets and your documents have not been updated, your plan may already be outdated. Third, have the family conversation. Do not wait for another crisis. Do not wait for another death. Do not leave people guessing. Clarity now can prevent conflict later. And fourth, build the right professional team around your estate planning attorney, tax strategist, financial advisor, and a trust probate real estate team that actually understands the stakes. Because no one should be doing this alone. If this series helped you, I want you to do two things. Comment the word legacy below, and I will send you the next step. And if you're dealing with a probate, trust, inherited property, conservatorship, or family real estate situation here in Southern California, use the confidential link in the description to request a private strategy call. You do not need to post your personal situation publicly. You do not need to figure this out alone. Just send us the basics and we will help you map out the smartest next move. If you watch this full series, you already know more than most families do when they begin the process. And that knowledge can save you money, it can save you time, and it can save your family from mistakes that are very hard to undo. Thank you for being here with me for all 12 weeks of Mastering the Probate Sale. I'm Paula Aragone. Protect the asset, protect the family, protect the legacy, and I will see you soon.